No, our last guest, I don't want to throw him under the bus, John Carippo, uh,
You know
didn't
you're
follow
live
that
now,
route.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured we could intro like that. Throwing Carippo under the bus.
Good intro.
I
Carissa.
saw live at the top right-hand corner. I figured that's what it meant.
Yeah, it's bright yellow and it says LIVE.
Does anyone remember? Yes, Lance, we are live now.
Hi,
Thank you for
Lance. Thanks for being our one listener tonight. Cheers.
Actually, it technically says we have 0 viewers, but whatever.
Oh, gosh.
Does anybody remember, Fadeji, do you remember what John says at the beginning of the show? It's something like, hello, and welcome to Techlandia.
Yeah, it's just like that. We're so excited you're joining us tonight. We're going to introduce our host and special guest.
All right, sounds good. But we forgot the John edit here part. Hold on, I'm going to do that right now to make it official. But we need like a pause because he always does it after a pause. So he knows
I need a pause. I need to collect myself. I'm nervous. Oh my gosh.
Red Solo Cup.
It's been
John. Nope, don't edit here. we're a shambles. John, edit here. Hello, Techlandia viewers and listeners. My name is not John Samuelson. He has decided that he doesn't care about Techlandia anymore and that the Blazers' doomed basketball season is more important to him, so he skipped tonight to go watch the Blazers get whooped and bow out of the playoffs tonight.
Woo! Go Warriors!
Oh. Indeed. Actually, go Bucks, and they're trying to stave off elimination right now as we speak. So in his stead tonight, we have me. So that's a letdown. My name's Karl. I'm constructor. And in our administrator friend today, who is also co-hosting, is the one, the only, the truly incomparable.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Fadeji, elementary principal from Northern California, also known as Fadeji Monster.
Yes, that's the most important name. Wait, if you're going to introduce your nickname, we'll have to introduce our guest by his nickname. I'm not sure we can tell that story.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good Techlandia story.
Nor do I.
Would you? Why don't you introduce our guest today, Amy? Because he's at your ill.
Oh gosh. All right. So our guest tonight is the one and only Principal Durham on Twitter, Kenneth Durham, and he comes to us from the Sacramento area. New principal, everybody. He's been a vice/assistant, new principal at New Tech High in Sacramento. Could not be more excited. And I've known Durham for a couple years, have learned so much from him. He gives a pretty awesome running jump hug, so watch out if you see him out and about. And so we're really excited to have you with us tonight, Durham.
Well, thank you. So, what do you need from me now?
Oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yes.
Tell us more about yourself. Little intro.
Oh, a little intro. All right. So, yeah, as they said, I've spent the last 4 years working as assistant principal, and very excited and a lot scared to begin a principalship. One day I'll be as cool as Amy is there. Yeah.
Hold your breath.
Exactly. No, and I'm just excited, after knowing these two for, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 years to be on here tonight.
Durham, I don't even know the answer to this question. What did you teach before you were an administrator?
I taught science for 8 years.
Okay.
Oh, you were going to guess, Amy? What were you going to guess?
I was going to guess history, so go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm married to a history teacher. I'm a science guy, double major geology and chemistry.
Wow. Smart.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Oh, I'm sure
Really?
That question was for you, Amy.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear it.
You said that explains a lot, so what does it explain?
Well, that's going to be in the off-air section of this episode as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Speaking of crickets, go crickets.
Yeah, I guess. So should we just jump in? I'm curious. I'm always curious when people choose to leave the classroom, Durham, and I guess this was a bit recent for you. What was that transition like for you? Was it an easy one? Was it a hard one?
Um, well, like I said, I taught for 8 years, and the first 5 I taught in Sac City Unified, and then I was kind of at a crossroads. I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the classroom or not. So I saved up some money, stayed home for a year with my then 2-year-old. She's now 9, and it was the greatest job I have ever had. If I could have that job for the rest of my life, I would. But uh, what they didn't tell me, what my union didn't tell me, was that I could take a 1-year leave of absence. So I ended up resigning my position, and so that was right around the crash. And so after a year off, I decided no, the classroom was where I wanted to be. So I went back to teach for 2 years, got pink slipped, moved to another school district, taught for 1 year, was actually teacher of the year for that school district, got pink slipped. Yeah.
We usually fire our best teachers too every year, so that's a total admin strategy. I'm sure it's totally normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I could not find a single science teaching position within an hour drive of Sacramento. Like not one posted anywhere to even like apply for, much less interview. But there were a couple dozen admin jobs. And after getting pink slipped the first time, I took the test to become an administrator to get my authorization, and applied for a job not knowing what I needed to do or how to do it. And really, I'm very thankful that I even got the interview, because knowing knowing what I know now, I would not have interviewed me. I wouldn't have. I wasn't ready. But I got lucky, and the gentleman who hired me is still a mentor of mine, and I've loved the transition. Absolutely. Not something I wanted to do, not something I was thinking about doing. More or less, it was a backup plan, and it has worked out, and I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, for better or for worse, Durham, when I think of you, I think of a lot of things. Some of them are positive, some of them are very negative.
Absolutely.
But this is a family show, so we'll keep. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why. I think it's because of some Voxer conversations that I've had with you, and I know what happens on Voxer is supposed to stay on Voxer, but you've talked a lot about school culture. So I'm wondering if we can maybe start there with school culture and just kind of what do you define school culture as?
Okay. So, we've all seen it on Twitter and various social media networks, that quote from the admiral about the most dangerous phrase in the English language is that's how we've always done it. Mm-hmm. And it was actually the summer. It was last year. It was about the middle of my master's. I recently also finished my master's in educational leadership. I decided I needed to figure out what school culture actually was. Because for a decade as an educator and a couple of years as an administrator, I just kind of always operated with this loose definition of it, and turns out I didn't have the slightest clue of what it actually is. And there's lots of different technical, theoretical definitions for it, but at the end of the day, it describes that whole notion behind why, it's just because it's the way we've always done it. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is you value, whatever it is that your school or you personally care about, and really, a problem comes up, and then your automatic solution, like, so tardies, we're going to address tardies in our school by going, a warning, and then a detention, and a second detention, and an in-school, and a suspension. Exactly.
Come to school when you feel like it, kids.
Exactly. So whatever system, pick any, the grade book or anything that goes on in our schools, we do it that way. And for better or worse, when we hire new people, either first-year teachers or people that have taught for 10 years, that come with experience and knowledge and could actually help us get better at what we do. We say, no, you're at school X now, and this is how we do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And so really that's what school culture is. But to go even deeper, and the part that really just, changed the way that I approach conversations with people as a school administrator now, is this idea behind assumptions. So we say, like, this is what we're going to do and this is why we're going to do it, but after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that we internalize that to the point where we don't even think about it anymore. It's just automatic. And the example I could give anybody that any of the 4 of you that will ever see this,
I might watch it twice.
You might watch it twice. Okay, 5 times. Is just think about a situation in your life, like with a parent, with a spouse, with a friend, at work, in a college course, where you pitched an idea and you got that automatic no.
Yeah.
And you don't even know why, or that person can't justify or explain why they just said no, but they did without even thinking. And so now as an administrator, when we're pitching something, I'm expecting that no. And knowing that it's coming and knowing why it's coming makes me not feel so bad about it and say, well, we're just talking right now. We're just planting seeds, and we'll give it some time and come back to it if it's worth it. And so understanding that there is this whole notion of assumptions that we're going to have to work through and make sure that people we're going to have to give them time to grapple with it.
Have you had any success with talking with staff about assumptions and just getting people to, I think maybe even just voicing hey, we all carry these with us and look how they can just stop a conversation immediately. Have you had any
I did.
That too.
What's that?
I want to toss a question on the back of that as well. So you're going to a new school. How are you going to figure out what the culture is?
Well, I listed a couple of books in the doc, and one of them that I absolutely love. It was a short read. It was $10 on I downloaded to my iPad. It's called Humble Inquiry. It's by this guy named Edgar Shen. He was a MIT business school management professor extraordinaire, and he really talks in the book about how people don't like to be told what to do. None of us. And I don't think anybody would argue that point. But as a leader, my job is to get people to reflect on their personal practice. And the best way to do that is to ask genuine questions. And so that's why he calls it Humble Inquiry. The title of his book is you're genuinely saying, I really don't understand. I'm not entering this conversation in a way where I want you to go somewhere. I'm entering this conversation with, help me figure out where you are. And through that, you might reflect on where you are and decide if that's where you want to stay.
Can I ask you, Durham, about as far as time goes, I know that my time with my staff is limited. I have 2 hours every Wednesday, and it's usually not really my time. There's usually 1,000 other things happening. And how do you balance giving the time for school culture chat and all of that with, I have another friend who's a teacher at a school, and he's we're talking school culture to death right now. And so that's something that I really struggle with, is that blend of let's talk about it, let's be aware of it, but what are the action items? How are we moving forward with this? Because we don't have a ton of time, but we need to make huge strides, I feel too.
Well, I think John Carippo, the infamous John Carippo, would say that those conversations need to not take place in those large settings.
Yeah, that's so good.
Having those one-on-ones or even 2 or 3 small group setting type conversations. But then also, I would ask your friend that's they're talking school culture to death.
Yeah.
let's not talk school culture, because if school culture is the solutions that we carry inside of us, let's talk about the problems. You know, what big problem are we facing? And really, is it a big problem? Because one of the conversations we had, it was not this year, but last year, I was at a site where, you know, teachers felt that tardies were out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tracked tardy data for 15 weeks and shared it with the staff each week, and we found out that we had like a 0.72% tardy rate. So it was like non-existent, but the perception was there that it was. So boiling down, first saying, okay, what is our problem, and then working to identify if we really do have a problem. We identified, and the staff said, you know what, this is really not a problem, so we moved on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Had that been a problem, though, I think the conversation isn't about our culture, but it's about identifying what problems do we have, ranking them, prioritizing them, and which ones do we want to tackle first.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Mr. LS?
Hey, Karl.
I'm thinking.
What you doing over there?
I mean, as a teacher.
I think, and this isn't meant to be a cop-out, most of the thinking that I've done around culture has been, how do we go about massaging it in a way that makes the way we've always done things different and better for students? Mm-hmm. Which isn't an answer to your question, but
well, no, but you gave me a great thought.
Please, follow me.
Yeah.
Go.
I think one of the ways we do that, I genuinely believe, you know, that whole first follower scenario is, you know, you find 1, 2, 3 people on campus that just, they want to be risk takers.
Yeah.
And then you wrap everything around them that they need. You know, they need devices, they need, you know, parent volunteers, they need sticks of bubble gum to hand out to students at the door. Because I don't really, for me, it's not what is the tool, it's what are you asking for, and let me find a way to say yes, and let's find a way to try this. Mm-hmm. And not that I want people to fail, but I want them to fail, because I think we get more out of the failure and everyone around them saying, like, oh, they went big and they totally bombed, and you know what, the site administration is still supporting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because right when I heard you say that, I heard you say that people, they are reluctant to put themselves out there. They're reluctant to fail. They don't embrace that, you know, failure is part of what we do in school. It's part of the learning process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, and I think maybe that becomes part of culture, is that people become scared of, be it a lack of support, a lack of, you know, things going on around them that make them do things differently, or. But yeah, I think that can become a part of, well, we've got this thing and that's good enough, and you know, let's kind of carry on. That can become part of the cultural milieu, if you will.
Exactly, love it.
What are some things, like going into your new position, Durham? What are some things that I realize a lot of people say, like, oh, just spend time getting to know everyone and blah, blah, blah. And a big part of that is good, don't get me wrong. But I know that there's also, like, when you dream of the school that you want to make for those students, there's also some culture things that you have in mind that are important from, like, day one. Are there any, like, big things or big statements that you're like, I'm going in with this, like, this is happening from day one? Is there anything huge like that?
Yeah, you know, I really believe in that I need to do two things. The first one is I need to say yes as often as I can. I need to find a way to say yes, and support teachers, um, because if I want them to embrace the chaos and the fact that it may not work out and it's going to be okay, um, I need them to know that as often as I can, I'm going to support them and say yes. But
Yes,
thinking,
and
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, yes, but.
Yeah.
Um, but even deeper than that, I I think that as a leader, and I think Amy, you're the same way. You and I are trying to be the leader that we would want to work with, not
Right.
for, but work with. Like,
Mhm.
wow, I wish I could work for that administrator. I
Yeah.
want I want teachers at other sites to say, I really want to go work over there with
Mhm.
this person because they're finding a way to help me help kids.
Right. And so, Carl, I know you're monitoring the Q&A, but I feel like the question that came in from Lance like kind of ties into that. Because he's talking about like, are we setting students up to fail if we don't teach them they're going to be told what to do in life? And then no, we don't like to be told what to do, but the reality is that we are. And I guess Durham, and you and I have talked about this, like I don't really feel like I'm in a position where people are telling me what to do, and I feel really lucky for that, but I hope that my staff would say the same about me. I mean, I know that some people will in life, but I don't think that, I don't know, that it's an interesting question if you.
Yeah, um, I think as a leader, you you ask about going in someplace new. I have to earn as many chips as I can, as fast as I can,
Right.
because there are going to be decisions that I have to make, and there are going to be days when I'm going to have to make withdrawals.
Yep.
And if I don't have, a balance in my bank account, and I'm going in trying to make withdrawal, then
Right.
I'm going to have some trouble.
Yeah.
But if people understand, whoa, he said his yes as often as he can, and I think just being very, very, transparent, being, having great communication skills and saying, I don't think that's the best decision or the best direction, and this is why.
Mhm.
And I understand that you don't agree, but I need you to at least understand that you have been heard,
Yeah.
and for these reasons, we're not going to do that.
And I have to say, I know this is not the Fadeji show, this is the Durham show.
Yeah,
but
no, go ahead.
like that has been a struggle for me personally, like because there will be times, and you already know this, like, and I'm sure Carl, you've experienced where like a decision's made and you're thinking, what in the world? And there have been so many times where I wish that I could like, bust out a flow chart that's like, this happened and then this person came in and this was the decision that had to be made, but you can't just like confidentially, legally,
Yeah.
ethically, there's so many times that you can't justify and share with people how you got to that decision. And that's been just like a personal struggle for me that I just like would, I'm excited that you'll be able to help support me in that as well as we like venture through this together, because it's like that's a real struggle. You have to have that trust with people for them to just get that. Like,
Yeah.
you're not always going to be able to tell me X, Y, and Z, but I have to trust that on the other end, these things were thought about, these things were considered,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Carl.
I think one more facet of Lance's question is, about you, because it was kind of about students, and I think you guys answered it from both the teacher and the student perspective. But I mean, let's be real. I think kids get told what to do at school all the time.
Yeah.
And if you've got that, class or two that's a breath of fresh air where they get some choice over what they're learning or how they're demonstrating that knowledge, I think, and obviously, some schools are gonna that it's gonna be more than a class or two, and other schools they're gonna be kids who are told what to do all day. But I think kids are. I guess I'm not worried about creating people who are compliant given the way our school system is set up. I understand that if it's all creativity all the time, that there might be issues. But I think creating compliant workers and citizens is what our school system was set up to, and what, at least for me, I think is what me and the people I hang out with. And I don't want to put the words in the two of your mouths, but I think you also kind of try to fight against that, compliance as school or something like that.
So, I absolutely, and I'm not collecting data on it, but I've probably in the last 2 weeks asked 30, 40 kids at the site that I'm at now, just this question, just at lunch or, in the library or before school or during passing period, asking students, when was the last time somebody asked you what you wanted to learn about?
Mm-hmm.
And
the answer is never.
They looked at me like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't happen. So it wasn't like, when was the last time? That was like, that's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know what what the new site that I'm going to be at is like yet. I have to go in, I have to learn, I have to listen, and I have to learn. But if it's not that way, if we aren't asking kids that question and making them part of the learning process, that is something I would want the team to work to change.
Right. Go for it.
Yeah.
How about some baseball, Karl?
Terrio has a lot of baseball-related questions.
I'm sure he does.
He's doing some
I think maybe the ones that are most salient to what we're talking about. What are you laughing about?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, he wonders what you wish you could sweep off of home plate in education. So for those of you that don't know, Durham is also an umpire for the Pac-12, I believe. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
For a college baseball umpire.
If you guys ever want to go to one of his games, he will tell you that he's going to put you on the get-in free list. Rally together like 10 or 15 people. You can show up at St. Mary's on like a Saturday. You can go to the cool people check-in and be like, yeah, I'm on the umpire list.
Hey, ask Terrio. Terrio was on the list when I put his name on the list.
They'll be like, who are you? Who are you talking about? And then you end up getting all your friends to pay. Really fun.
One time.
Yeah.
One time.
That's all it takes.
One time I was supposed to go have like a dinner with Amy or something like that, and I got really sick, and I texted her and begged out, and she reminded me about it for about a year and a half. So the memory is long on that one. Anyway, back to the question that Terrio wanted us to ask. What do you wish you could sweep off of home plate in education? And kind of what? So I think there's three facets. What would you sweep out of education generally, off of the home plate of education, off of teaching, and off of administration?
Okay.
Ooh, big.
Wow.
Can I give a theoretical answer to the admin one?
You can, but don't let me lose my sweep off the plate of education one.
Okay,
can I go that one first?
Go first. I'll go later.
Okay. The first thing I would sweep off is publisher consumer products. So boxed stuff that we in education buy and say, okay, here, learn about this. The content, because, I mean, what can the kids not find on that little thing in their pocket?
Right.
Really, why are we spending, the bulk of our discretionary funds that don't go, 85% of what the average district in California spends is on people, and then out of that other 15%, it's on materials, textbooks, and software, and all of this stuff that, the people that are using it, the teachers, they probably weren't asked and said, like, hey, we just bought you this, and now we're going to train you on how to use it because, somebody came in and told me it was the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first thing I would sweep off of it, the home plate of education.
Is the boxed
Textbooks, the boxed curriculum. I mean, I'd rather pay that money to teachers. There's 180 days in the school year that teachers get paid for. there's 170, 180 whatever days left in the year for us to pay them to be the experts, so that when they spend those other 180 in the classroom, that they've created their own curriculum. They've collaborated on what it is that they're going to do to reach their kids. Karl, admin, sweep it.
Well, I'm not an administrator, so I'm clearly
No,
qualified.
go ahead.
I think a lot of administrators enter administration because they want to help move a school, because they think that they're, and I don't say this derisively, but they have ideas that they want to spread and they want to help leverage change on a larger scale. And as I talk to administrative friends, it just seems like the avalanche of emails is astounding. And Amy, I hear about how much time you spend outside of your classroom, and I wonder how many hours a night you're on those days when you're not, or sorry, how many days a week you spend out of your office. And I just wonder if we could throw out if the administrative staple of having 200 emails that you have to answer all the time, that seems like that would allow administrators to focus on the job of guiding school culture and being instructional leaders. That I think was what they wanted to do in the first place.
I mean, that's hard, though, because yes, like, email's a huge time suck, but I feel like a lot of the emails that I get are totally valid, and they're about connecting, and they're about students, and they're about, like, things that teachers need to be supported, and, responsibilities that I have towards the district as well. And so I think that if we were to just sweep email off the plate, I would then be answering those questions on Voxer and Twitter and in person, and it's just that, like, demand. It's hard when it's one person. Like, I just can't keep up, and I don't know, like, Durham. You're awesome on your email inbox, aren't you?
Yeah, there's like maybe 4 emails in my work inbox right now.
Yeah, mine's like at 256. So great.
Hey, that's really good for you. That is really I mean, come on. From where you were to 256, that's amazing.
That's right. Thank you.
And I guess the way I would answer that question, Karl, is
wait, hold on. Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Because Amy's answer was way too politically correct.
Why? What's politically correct?
No.
You know that I'm not making that up, Karl. I'm serious. Like, the reason why I have so many there is that I need to, like, spend the time to actually reflect on it and write back. Like, I mean, yeah, of course you get ridiculous emails, but a huge chunk of them are actually things that I need to take care of.
All right, I apologize.
I asked you to not gang up on me, but
I wasn't ganging up. That was all him.
All right.
So, but my answer is that, but a little bigger. And what I mean by a little bigger is it's the mindset that new administrators have, and they carry forward, like, throughout their career until somebody changes it or something changes it, that says the priority is to be in your office and to focus on those logistical, managerial type things, and not be in the classroom or in the hallway or on the grounds or where the people are, seeing what they need, connecting with the living, breathing building. And I get criticized. I do for walking and texting or walking and doing the email.
Be present.
But if I have a choice, I can stay in my office and get all of that work done, or I can get out of my office and have that device in my hand.
I definitely have been caught in a few, like, we have, like, these little lounges between our 5th and 6th grade classrooms, and I'll just, like, sneak in there and the lights are off, and I'm, like, sending an email, texting the office manager, because I've had teachers that are like, Amy, it appears like you're not present when you're walking around on your phone, and I totally get that I'm running the school from my phone.
Yeah.
So I can be out and about, and then I'm like, okay, awkward, caught in the coffee closet on my phone.
Yeah, or just taking my iPad or Chromebook into a classroom, and I'm not there to observe. I'm not there to do a walkthrough. I'm not there to evaluate. I'm just there to sit at the science lab table in the back of the room
Right.
and write the newsletter or work on the school site plan because the budget's due in a week or whatever, but I don't want to do it in my office. I want to be where people are. And there was another part of the home plate.
Teaching, administration, and education in general.
Okay, so teaching. What would I wipe off the home plate of teaching? Absolutely direct instruction that lasts more than 15 to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Or 10 to 15 minutes, I'm sorry. 10 to 15 minutes. Wipe it off. And the reason I'd wipe it off is because students, they have a story, they have a voice, and we never asked them to share it. The first 3-4 years of me in the classroom, that's all I did. I stayed up all night, made my PowerPoint, and I blew through it, and I'm like, whew, I made it before the bell.
Right.
So it was just me. And I think I've told you about this book before, Karl. Paulo Freire and the Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Just the whole banker model where the student is there and they're a cup and I'm the teacher and I'm going to fill them when I want to fill them and I'm going to decide how much they get and when and of what. And it was wrong and I did it. And so
I would love to go back and look at my evaluations and see what I was doing, because I just was talking a lot and yeah.
Well, we one of the things hopefully we'll have time to get to here is
doubtful.
Let's get to it now.
Okay.
Go.
Yes.
Our viewers have a lot to do tonight.
Is Voxer? I put on their admin prep after you get the job, and the reason I put that is because when I told you I wasn't ready for the job, I wouldn't have interviewed me for my first job, and they give you a piece of paper that lists your responsibilities. They give you a master key. And they send you on your way. Oh, no, wait, you get an office, too, because you're going to spend a lot of time in there. And they send you on your way. And so the reason I say Voxer, just today on my drive home, Jason Markey from East Leiden High School in Chicago talked about how, even he admitted, he's like, I wasn't the teacher I could have been. But by becoming connected, we've learned oh, I was doing that wrong all this time, and I didn't know, and really the power of the connection, and so what I was saying, what I wanted to get to is really, admin prep programs are bad, but and I did my master's thesis on this. I couldn't find one that was a model for how they all should be done. I found 6 or 7 that had elements that if all compiled would be outstanding. But one of them, these elements were things like mentoring and coaching and collaborative cohorts, but they all had limitations. The cost is prohibitive for a lot of those, and the time to get together. But tools, and it doesn't matter which tool, and the tool's not the answer, but for Voxer, I can connect with Amy, and I connect probably with 40 other administrators on a daily basis in 2 Voxer groups, and we share the real work that we have to do and say, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so in that conversation today, we were talking about how technology is this accelerator, because before, as an administrator, you'd have to wait for the monthly newsletter from the association that you belong to, and read the 4 or 5 articles that were in there, and hope that one of them addressed something that you were having an issue with, to get feedback and ideas. Because I've worked in 2 school districts as an administrator, and rarely do we have the time to sit down just together. I'm working, let's say Amy and I are in the same district. Mm-hmm. We may not have time to get together to talk.
Right.
But by using technology, we talk, 4, 5, 6, 12 times a day.
Yeah, I was like this year, or just recently, Katina Haugen, who obviously you guys both know, but she's an elementary principal in my district as well. We just like blocked out 3 hours of like collaboration time because we're like, we never do this. We are connected all the time, thank goodness, Voxer and Twitter and text and all that. But
face to face.
Yeah, face to face. I'm like, I just went to her office and it was so awesome. We were planning some iPad one-to-one stuff, but like as people are coming in and things are happening, we're like getting to process it together, and it's just like such a gift,
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to find the way, Karl, to do that with the teachers in my building next year. I want them to be able to connect with others, to connect with teachers like you or David or anybody that they have that connection with and that those shared interests.
I think I need to come give them a pep talk about what to expect.
Your latte will be ready and waiting.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was supposed to get a latte today, but it didn't happen. So.
Not from me. That was Joe's latte.
Joe Sanfilippo really let me down. Let's just put it that way.
I like how that was like, let's put it that way as a way of Amy. I don't know if you know what that phrase is supposed to mean, but let's put it that way is a way to kind of code who you're really blaming. But when you say it was Joe Sanfilippo's fault, you're not really coding the message in a way that
I'm feeling really correct today, so.
You also tweeted a picture of somebody like who brought in farm fresh eggs and a coffee for you.
Oh my gosh, right? I had the best weekend with, let me just tell you this really fast, with 6 of my teachers who are freaking rock star teachers. We went down to Orange County and we were at the iOS Summit all weekend, and we didn't get home. I got home at like 12:45 last night, and they all still had to drive. And then I get to math committee this morning. One of my K teachers, who's going to 1st grade because she's awesome, brings me a dozen eggs and a latte, right? So Joe can just suck it with his non-latte delivery.
Wow.
Durham, you have to take your teachers on a field trip. It's the best thing ever.
A field trip to Penn Grove Elementary?
Well, that would be good too. But anywhere, like this trip was so great for us. Really. Baby.
I found out. Whoa, what is that?
That's Amy. Amy, you got to put in earphones. You're echoing really bad. I'll unmute you and get your earphones in.
Okay, so I found out on Friday that as being a part of the New Tech Network, there's a national conference that I'm going to with about half the staff in July. So I'll be in Chicago the 20th through the 24th. And I am going on a field trip with 6 to 7 teachers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know how to unmute Amy either. She might have to unmute herself.
Do you want to unmute Amy?
Awesome. Honey.
I was just going to leave that and hang it in the air. All right, no. let's send you off with a Terrio question because I know he might to this, and it's totally a baseball question.
I figured it would be.
So which college stadium is your favorite to call a game in, and which college stadium has the best food?
Oh, well, he would love it if I said the stadium at UC Irvine.
He would love that.
He would love that. He would absolutely adore that answer.
Not what you're going to say.
Not what I'm going to say. Not what I'm going to say. The best experience I ever had in a college stadium was the new stadium there in Columbia, South Carolina, home of the Gamecocks. Just a gorgeous facility. The community there really supports their athletics, and just it was from the time we got there till the time we left, it was amazing. Yeah.
Did you get anybody free tickets to that game?
I did. Yes, to several of the games there.
Right.
What about best food?
Best food. Okay. This is for a Hawaiian friend of mine. I'll go with this. At the University of Hawaii, they bring, like, most stadiums, they'll bring you like a chili dog, or a tri-tip sandwich or something. In Hawaii, they give you spam wrapped in rice, wrapped in seaweed.
Spam musubi!
Oh.
There you go.
Amy, have you ever had spam musubi?
No, I've never had spam. That's disgusting. I mean, I do love some meat, but not spam.
Amy, I have never eaten spam. I don't plan on ever eating spam other than in spam musubi. I found it to be gross. Just try it once.
What is it called?
Spam musubi, M-U-S-U-B-I.
No. I'll take a grilled steak instead, please.
Oh my lord. You're such
Oh, shoot.
All right, we should probably wrap this up because we're now over 40 minutes, and one of John's rules is under 30 minutes. But John ain't here. Do we know?
John ain't in the house.
Any final words or thought or?
Yeah, I would love to know, and I don't know, maybe I can get Amy to do a collaborative doc and send it out in a tweet for me.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Look at that delegation. You become a principal, and all of a sudden you're giving me
absolutely.
Yes.
And it was a form of a question too.
All right,
you noticed that move.
Yeah, so smooth. Continue.
Yeah. So if you, if you're a teacher listening to this, or you're a teacher that hears about this, what would you want from your first year principal?
Ooh.
Right.
We're tweeting that up like
there
crazy.
You go. There you go.
I
feel a blog post coming on for you, Amy.
Oh, great. I'll do that as soon as I get through that 260 emails. I'll get right on that.
Oh, I thought it was 56.
No,
you got 4 during the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
So,
all right, Karl, give us some good sound effects or something to close this back.
I was watching the Q&A, so it'll take me a second to open the sound.
Okay, no worries.
So I would say to Principal Durham, thank you for coming on. I've got your tweet queued up, despite the animosity-filled nickname I have for you, I do think I would happily work for you as a.
We'd work together.
No, you're the boss. Let's not pretend.
Hey, the boss in any school is the secretary, and if you don't know that yet,
I do know.
Yeah, what's your secretary like? This is exciting. I should really talk to her.
She came to the board meeting last week.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, she was there right after I got approved by the board. She was the first person to congratulate me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so.
Maybe we can get a new breakthrough coach training together.
Absolutely. I'll go again.
You need it.
Thanks.
I do too, don't worry.
And Amy, I think that the last words go to you.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm overwhelmed with excitement for you in your new position, Durham, and you know that already, but I can't wait to come hang out and see all the things that you're doing over there, and maybe Karl come along, and it's going to be really fun to watch the adventure unfold. I know for me, I wish I could redo year one. A lot of things were awesome, but you never get that fresh perspective. Your eyes are just, you only get that year one time, and so I just encourage you to keep that in mind that whole first year. You're only going to see every event throughout the whole season one time with a fresh set of eyes, where you're not just thinking, oh yeah, we do it this way because that's how we do it. So kind of to go back to your quote, just hold strong with that, and ask lots of questions, and you're going to be awesome.
Thanks. And
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, love it.
Yes. I will echo what Amy said, and I think we are talking to the Sedgwick next week about, I'm sure, something awesome. So hopefully some of you will join us then.
Yeah.